It is, of course, an unthinkable and unspeakable horror. 20 children, several adults brutally murdered in an elementary school. Today's events will likely have lasting effects, both mentally and emotionally, for all those involved, and many of those just watching this tragedy unfold. Joining us live from our newsroom, we have Dr. Barry Sarvet. He is a child psychiatrist at Bay State Medical Center in Springfield. Dr. Sarvet, thank you for joining us tonight. We can't even imagine the pain that these parents of these young victims must be feeling tonight, or the trauma that the children who are schoolmates of the victims are going through. But even elementary school students here in Western Massachusetts, as they hear about this tragedy, how can parents help them feel safe?
Thank you, Barry. We are all shaken. I think that I'm personally shaken, and I know that you are, and it's very hard to deal with that ourselves and to support our children as well. I think that we all have to do this together, but especially for our children who are the most vulnerable. But I think that it is an incomprehensible tragedy, and there's no way that anyone's going to explain this in a satisfactory way to anyone, especially to children. But I think that the message is that for families, and that I'd like people to know, is that kids need to talk about this because they are hearing about it, and it's very scary and disturbing. And that kind of anxiety and stress is harmful to kids. And so one of the ways to help them to deal with that is through talking, to acknowledge that this is extremely stressful, and to say to their kids that this is something that they can talk about.
How does a parent approach a subject like this with their child?
Well, I think...
How do you start that conversation?
The first step is to ask the child what they've heard and what they know, and to start from there. And so a lot of times when people are hearing things, as you know, in the beginning when things happen, there's lots of misinformation that's spreading around. And so the first step could be talking with kids about what they've heard and trying to correct some of their misperceptions.
How does a child actually process information like this? I mean, it's monstrous for all of us, even adults. I mean, and it's traumatic for all of us. But for a child to imagine a mass murder of children, how do they view something like this?
Well, sometimes kids, surprisingly, are oftentimes very resilient, and so sometimes they go about their business and they're not complaining, and they look perfectly fine, and you don't know that they're worrying and that they have very scary and fearful thoughts that are going on in their minds underneath the surface. So the processing isn't always happening. That sometimes kids are just kind of storing away memories and thoughts and images of what they've seen, and those memories are kind of doing damage inside their minds, which is why we encourage so much for parents to ask their kids questions about what they've heard.
I was going to say, that goes back to what you said originally, that we should talk to the kids and ask them what it is they're feeling and what it is they're thinking about.
Kids also need to have a message that they are going to be safe, that parents need to emphasize all the things that people in society and themselves and their families do to make sure that they're safe, and to really to reassure them about that.
Dr. Barry Sarvet, thank you very much for joining us tonight. You've helped us understand and maybe even deal with this with our own children.
You're very welcome.